can speak. Use your mic, okay, for providing the answers. Anamika has also raised her hand. So, what kind of teachers did Margie and Tommy have? Margie and Tommy had teachers which were robotic and mechanical, Then why did Margie's mother send for the county inspector? Why did Margie's mother send for the county inspector? Yes. Who's going to? Yes, Aditya, you have raised your hand. Aditya.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Answer. Why did Margie's mother send for the county inspector?
Hello. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm waiting for your reply. Why?
Margie had given many tests in geography by mechanical teacher, but there was no improvement in her performance. It was only kept on worsening. Therefore, Margie's mother sent for the county inspector to find out the reason behind that.
Yes, there was a decline in Margie's performance, and Margie was not able to perform well, was not able to score good marks, though she was working hard. That's why the county inspector was called to check what was the problem. Then what did he do? What did the county inspector do? What did the county inspector? No, no, Aditya, not you this time. Yeah, anyone? Isita Kamal, Isita. What did he do? What did the county inspector? Yes, Komal Verma, Isita Kamal, Aman Mansuri. Yeah, only Aditya raised. What about others? Everyone has to take part in classroom discussion. Yes, Anamika, you tell what did he do? Anamika Raghav, answer. What did he do? Who is he here? The county inspector. Yes, Anamika, answer it.
He beat.
Anamika, your hand is raised. The county inspector was saying, Anamika, no need to write there in comment box. You can unmute yourself and tell the answer. Yes, Sresh Pathare.
He beated the head of Mazi and told the Mrs. matlab his mother that it was not fault of him. It is the fault of the machine which was speeded up a quite little. He set it at the average 10 years age.
Yeah. Okay. So the
Sir,
county.
can I tell?
Yes.
Sir, can I speak?
Yeah, Aditya, you can.
The county inspector was a round little man with a red face. He smiled at Margie and gave an apple to her and started working on the mechanical teacher. He took it apart and then checked it. Margie wished that the inspector would not know how to put the mechanical teacher together again, but he managed to reassemble it. He slowed down the geography sector of the teacher because it was geared little too quick for an average 10 years old.
Yes. So he took it apart. He came to know that it is a bit leveled high. Okay. So he adjusted it as per Margie's level. Okay. And then the things became all right. So what did he do? He took it apart, he checked it out, and came to know that it was a little bit geared up. Its level was higher than the level of Margie. So he adjusted it as per Margie's level. Okay. Then why was Margie doing badly in geography? So this we have understood that the level of the geography teacher was quite was adjusted quite high, and it was not as per the mental level of Margie, and that's why she was performing badly in geography. Then what had once happened to Tommy's teacher? Once Tommy's history teacher has completely blanked out. It completely blanked out due to some defect. Its screen showed nothing. It completely went blanked out. Its screen showed nothing. So Tommy's teacher was taken away. It was taken away for repairs for about a month. Okay, so this time Margie also thought that her teacher will also be taken away and she will get a relief from study. Okay, so what happened with Tommy's teacher once, that also you should remember. Geography teacher, Margie's geography teacher, what was the problem, that you should remember. All these things you should understand the story well and remember everything. Then did Margie have regular days and hours for school? If so, why? So, what do you say? Did Margie have regular days and hours for school? Yes. Kusum? Yes, Kusum, you can answer. You have raised your hand. Kusum?
Yes, Margie had regular days and hours for school. This was because her mother believed that learning at regular hours helped little girl learn better. Her mechanical teacher was also on at the same time every day except Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, she had a regular hours of schooling because the mother used to believe that with the regular system only children can learn well. Okay, and there were holidays on a Saturday and a Sunday. Okay, that you can write. Then the next, how does Tommy describe the old kind of schools? What kind of the old kind of schools? How does Tommy describe the old kind of schools? Kusum's hand is raised. Aditya. What about others? Why Ansuman Tiwari, Sara Meena? Yes, Komal Verma, you answer. Komal Verma. Komal.
Tommy describes the old kind of schools as a special building where all kids studied together. There hundreds of students were studying and playing together. They used to shout and laugh together in an open yard. They had a teacher who wasn't a regular teacher but was a man.
Yeah, very good. So these were the buildings, special buildings away from home. They used to have a teacher, a regular teacher. Okay, all the students used to go there and they used to study together. They used to sit there in a room. They used to have a lot of fun. They used to play together. All this. So I hope you have understood about all this very well. Okay. Then do you agree with Margie that schools today are more fun than the school in the story? Yeah, one final question from this, then we will move to the next session. Do you agree with Margie that the schools today are more fun than the school in the story? Yeah. Yes, students.
Can I tell, sir?
Anyone else? Yeah, Sara Meena. Sara Meena, Ansuman, what about you? Sara Meena, Sara. Every student should take part. Yeah, Ansuman, you can.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree with Margie that schools today are more fun than the schools in the story because learning is not just reading books and acquiring knowledge and upgrading the grades. It is about adaptability and adjustability in the society. The study should be that could be applicable in practical world that that is taught in the school in the present time.
Yes. So when students they will mix with each other, they will sit all together in a group. They will learn all these social values, how to adjust, how to react to a number of differences. Okay. So yeah, of course. And in their schools, they used to be all alone. Their school was one of the adjoining room of their bedroom, and there they used to remain all alone. There were no other students, so the practical learning chances were quite less, and it was a complete boredom. On the other hand, the schools mentioned in the story, all the students used to be together, all of them they used to play together, and a physical teacher used to be there, and that was more convenient for students to learn. So this different. Then next children it is regarding the road not taken. The road not taken. Okay, so the road not taken. The next poem, first poem, it is written by Robert Frost. It is written by Robert Frost. And actually, what the poem is, the poem is we can say a comment there, a comparison for the real life situation. The two roads, they are just a comparison for the real life situation, that in real life, very often human beings, they come across a dilemma, okay, a confusion that what they should do. Okay, sometimes it is regarding the career choices, that what career choices they should opt. Okay, and then finally they select one out of the available choices, and that makes the difference in their lives. Okay, so the story is like that. So how it is related to the real life, you should know. So the poem "The Road Not Taken" by the American poet Robert Frost was an American poet. Was first published in 1916, and it is about the journey of life and contains a deep hidden meaning. It is about the journey of life and it contains a deep hidden meaning. What is the meaning? That every individual in life come across such a situation where he have to opt from the available options, available choices. He has to decide for one. He has to opt for one. It may be regarding the career choices or any other choices. And finally, what he become there in the time to come, that remains because of the decision taken at that time. So it is about the journey of life and contains a deep hidden meaning. It is about decisions people make during their lives. It is about the decisions or choices which people make during their lives. Okay, they have after making the decisions and what impact their decisions are going to have upon them. He comes to a point where the road is divided. So the poet comes across a spot, a diversion point where the roads were divided. And he was in a dilemma. He was in a confusion. Which road he should obey? Which road he should follow? Okay, and that made the differences there in his life. He followed which road? He followed the road which was less traveled. So less traveled, it reflects the career choices made by him. He was a poet, and actually poet is such a profession that is not opted by many. Okay, so in that way also it suggests that the road opted by him was less traveled, and that made all the differences in his life. So I will read the point that will make. Okay, so let's discuss some of the questions. Two roads diverse in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both. The poet is saying that one day before me two roads diverged, and I was a single traveler, and being a single traveler, I was not able to follow both the roads. And being one traveler long I stood, so I was a single traveler. I stood at one place, and then I looked at both the roads and looked down one as far as I could, as far as I was able to see. I looked on one road to where it went in the undergrowth. By undergrowth means the trees. So where the tree growth was there, where I was able to see, I looked up to that point to the road to have an inspection. which road was better. Then took the other just as fair. Then I looked the other road. The other road was also just looking equally fair and having perhaps the better claim. The other road was having better claim. Why it was having better claim? Because it was a grassy and wanted wear. Because the other road was grassy, it was having wanted wear. Some grass was there. And if a road remains grassy and having wanted wear, that means that it has been traveled by less number of people. Because had it been traveled by more number of people, then there would not have been that much grass. So okay, so as for that, the passing there had gone them really about the same. But then there is a twist. Okay, on one side he is saying that that road was having a better claim because wanted beer was there, that was grassy. But in the next line he is saying that though for the passers-by, those who used to pass from that way, they opted both the roads equally. Such kind of twist remain very common there in Robert Frost poetry. If you read the poem 94, you will find such kind of twist in that poem also. And both that morning equally lay. On that particular morning, both the roads were equally lying before me. In leaves, no step had trodden blade. Not a single step was taken on that particular morning on both the roads. Oh, I kept the first road for another day. I kept the first road for another day, yet knowing how way leads on the way. I was knowing this fact that once I will start my journey, it will become very difficult for me to come back. But then also, I opted for the second road. I doubted if I should ever come back. I am having a doubt if I will be ever able to come back. That happens with the career choices we make in life, that once we opt for a career option, then it becomes very difficult for us to come back and then then opt for another career. So this is like that, children. I hope you understood. You understood the poem or not?
Yes, sir.
So which road did the poet choose? Why did he do so? The poet chose the road which was less traveled. Yeah. Why? Because it was less traveled, so it was offering more challenges. It was offering more challenges, and he loved to overcome challenges. Then what was the poet's dilemma in the poem, the road not taken? What is his dilemma? It was that to opt for which road? Yes, Anusa, you can.
His dilemma was that to choose one among the diverging roads, as he
Yes.
was an individual traveler.
Yeah, as he was a single traveler, both the roads were lying before him on that particular morning. Both the roads were offering equal opportunities. Not a single step was taken, and he was having a dilemma to opt for which road. Then explained, and that has made all the differences. Means he opted for the road which was less traveled, and that made all the differences. Whatever he earned, whatever he got, whatever he achieved there in his life, that was because of that. So in a way, we can say that in life we come across such kind of situations. Then we make one decision in such kind of situations, and the life to come depends entirely on the decision taken at that particular time. Okay. Then, what do you think is the central idea of the poem? What is the central idea of the poem? The central idea of the poem is that our future happiness depends on the right choices we make in life. It depends upon the right choices we make in our life. Life offers many choices, and alternatives, but we should choose our path with utmost care, with full attention, so that we do not repent in future. Okay, so it is about the choices we come across in life, and finally we have to opt from the choices available to us, and our decision should be good enough so that in future we should not repent for our decision, and that our decision could add significantly to our work. When it will happen, when we will take a careful decision, and when we will be able to take a careful decision, when we will have sufficient knowledge about our strength, about our potentialities. Okay, so what does the poet think about the road not taken by him? This question, yes, anyone want to answer? Yes, students, what does the poet think about the road not taken by him? Yes, Ansuman Tiwari has left. Ansuman, why you have left? Yes, students, yeah, Aditya. What does the poet think about the road not taken by him? He considered that road also equally good and offering equal claim. Okay, so this is about. So you should be able to answer. Then bring out the symbolism in the poem. Okay, if you can say that what kind of metaphor has been used in the poem, or bring out the symbolism in the poem. What kind of symbolism has been used in the poem, children? What symbolism has been used? The poem is about something more than the choices of paths in wood. It is not merely about the two roads. It symbolizes the journey of life. What it symbolizes? It symbolizes the journey of life and the decisions we make in the journey of our lives. We can interpret the poet's choice of road as a symbol for choices we make in our real life, between different alternatives and the choices we have. It is only after the passage, after passing of many years, that we can really evaluate that the decisions taken by us were right or wrong, were fruitful or not. So this is, children, I hope you have understood the lesson or not. You have understood the poem or not?
Understood, sir?
Understood,
Okay,
sir.
so this is, I am just giving a just an introductory part. Then the road over, then the sound of music. The sound of music, children. Two stories are given. One is that of Evelyn Blaney, and the other is that of Ustad Bismillah Khan. And why the stories are given here? So that you can motivate yourself from this story. Okay, so the lesson is the story of a brave girl, Evelyn Blaney, who fought against physical disability with indomitable courage and hard work. She fought against the physical disability with her great courage, despite of her hearing impairment. What kind of problem she was having? She was having hearing impairment. She was not able to hear properly. She achieved an exemplary success and became one of the most renowned musicians. And with what she was able to become a renowned musician, this was only and only because of her faith in her ability. She was determined enough that yes, she can do something in life. She is able to achieve her targets, and with that, she was able to reach at the pinnacle of glory, at the zenith. Now she performs worldwide and also give free concerts in prisons and hospitals. She also teaches music to young musicians. She has already accomplished more than most people twice her age. She has inspired thousands of children with special needs worldwide and could become their role model. But this happened only and only due to what? This happened only and only due to her confidence in herself, due to her determination, due to her strong dedication. Is it clear to you? So it doesn't matter what lesson you get, that you may have some problems in life, you may have some difficulties, but if you have a strong willpower, okay, if you have faith in yourself, okay, if you are very much committed to your goal, then you can achieve very much there in your life. Okay, so this is about, if we'll discuss some questions, you will able to learn it more. How old was Evelyn when she went to the Royal Academy of Music? Yes, Kusum.
Eveline was 17 years old when she went to the Royal Academy of Music in
Yes.
London. Her deafness was first noticed when she was 8 years old, and it was confirmed when she was 11.
So it was recognized when she was 8 years old. It was confirmed when she was 11 years old. She went to the academy when she was 17 years old. Okay. Then when was her deafness first noticed? Already we have discussed answer to the second. It was noticed when she was 8 years old, and it was confirmed when she was 11 years old. Then who helped her to continue with music? It was a teacher there in school. Yes, Aditya.
Percussionist Ron Forbes helped Evelyn to continue with her music. He began with tuning two drums to a different note. He asked Evelyn to not to listen them with ear, but to try and sense them in some other manner.
To feel the music, okay, to feel the vibrations of the music. He asked her to do, and Evelyn started feeling it, to feel it with every part, to every part of her body, and with this, she was able to achieve success there in her life. Then name the various places and causes for which Evelyn performs. Yeah. Aditya raised his hand, but Anusha, you tell.
Evelyn performed at music concerts. Apart from that, she gives her performance in prisons and hospitals. She
Yeah,
also gives great importance to the classes for young musicians.
for young musicians, for prison, for hospitals, all these she used. Okay, so this is one part of the story. Then the other is regarding Bismillah Khan. Okay, so Bismillah Khan also came from a very down to earth background, from very humble background, and then he reached to a great height in his career. He became a renowned Sahnai player. Okay, so this takes you that you can achieve whatever you want, but what should remains there, that you should totally dedicate yourself towards your goal. So the Sahnai of Bismillah Khan remarkably portrays the life and achievements of great Sahnai player Bismillah Khan. He is widely acclaimed as a superb Sahnai player not only in India but in the entire world. This lesson enlightens us about the origin of Sahnai, how Sahnai came into being, and how it got its name. How Sahnai got its name, that is the question there in the exercise. We also come to know about Bismillah Khan's childhood days, his devotion to music, his love for India as well as for Banaras. Okay, that is also there. He won numerous awards. The most prestigious was the Bharat Ratna Award. Okay, so all this is given there in this lesson. How you can say that he was a very secular person. So all this is there, children. So why did Aurangzeb, some questions? Why did Aurangzeb ban the playing of Pungi? Yes. Why did Aurangzeb ban the playing of Pungi? Only one or two. Yeah, Sarah Meena, you raise your hand. You answer. Then I will ask to Mansi Vyas. Mansi also raised her hand. Yeah, Sara, you tell.
He banned Pungi due to its shrill and unpleasant sound.
Due to its shrill and unpleasant sound. Aurangzeb banned Pungi due to its shrill and unpleasant sound. Then how is Sahnai different from Pungi?
Chennai is broader and longer.
Yes, Mansi.
Sir, I can tell the answer.
Mansi, loudly you have to speak.
Chennai
Mansi,
is longer than
Mansi,
sir.
yeah, speak. How is
A
Sahnai different from Pungi?
pungi is made of a reed, but a shena is a pipe with a natural hollow. It is longer and broader than the pungi. It has 7 holes on its body.
Yeah, so it is having natural hollowness and it is having 7 holes on its body. So Sahnai has a better tonal quality and its sound is also better. When Sahnai is played, it produces soft and melodious sound, whereas Pongi produces shrill sound. The pipe used for making a Sahnai is longer and broader than that of the Pungi. Sahnai has 7 holes on the body of its pipe. It is an improvement upon Pungi. It's an extended version that of Pungi. Then where was the Sahnai played traditionally?
Sir,
Where
can I
was,
tell?
yes.
Sir, me.
Sir, I can tell.
Yeah, Komal Verma, you tell. Aditya just played Komal.
The Shehnai was traditionally played in royal courts, temples, and during wedding ceremonies.
Yeah, it was played in the royal courts, it was played in the wedding ceremonies. Okay, it was played in royal courts and in wedding ceremonies. Okay, then when and how did Bismillah Khan get his big break? Aditya, now you can tell.
The Shehnai was traditionally played in royal courts, temples, and weddings. Ustad Bismillah Khan, an undisputed monarch of Shehnai, bring it to the classical stage.
He brought it to the classical stage. And the next question it is, when and how did Bismillah Khan get his big break? The first day when he wrote it, Anusar Yadav.
In 1938, the All India Radio was opened in Lucknow. It came as a big break for Bismillah Khan.
Yeah, when he was given an opportunity to give a program there on it. Then, yeah, Anamika, you have also raised your hand. So, next question, where did Bismillah Khan play the Sahnai on 15th August 1947? Why was the event historic? Yes, Anamika.
Bismillah Khan became the first India to bring
Anamika. Yes, Anamika, fast. Anamika Raghav. Where did Bismillah Khan play the Sahnai on 15th August
Sir, can I tell?
1947? Why was the event historic? Anamika, you have raised your hand. Why you are not responding?
Can I speak, sir?
Yes, Aditya.
On the 15th August 1947, Bismillah Khan played the Ra Kafi on the Shehnai from the Red Fort. The event was historic because it was played on the occasion of India's independence from the British.
Yes. So he played at Red Fort and it was historic because it was the function that of the first function of our independence. So this is, I hope children you have understood about lesson number 2. Then poem second, it is Wind, Subramanya Bharti. So let me tell you what is the theme of this poem. The poem Wind was originally written in Tamil. The poem highlights both the aspects of nature, constructive as well as destructive. According to the poet, the wind teaches troubles and makes fun of all those who are weak. So in order to stand against the wind, what one should do? One should make oneself very much strong. One should make oneself very much strong in order to stand against the wind. Okay, if you will be weak, you will not be supported by the wind. If you will be stronger, your strength will even further be modified by the wind. The central message is that no one in the society is going to support those who are weak. So if you want to stand, survive, then you have to make yourself very strong. Okay, so only 2 minutes are there. Just understand it. The poet observes that the wind breaks the shutters of the windows, scatters the paper, and throws down the books lying on the shelf. He appeals to the wind to blow gently, but the wind goes its own way. The wind brings the rain again. The poet thinks that wind is very clever at making fun of the weak, whether humans or animal. If the houses, the rafters, doors, anything are weak, then they will not be spared by the wind. Okay, the wind god crushes all the weaklings. All those who are weak, they are crushed by the wind god. It does not listen to those who are weak in body, spirit, and mind. So, what one should do to stand against the wind? One has to make oneself very much strong. Okay, and the way as the wind won't listen to the weaklings, the poet tells us to build strong homes and join the doors firmly. We ought to make our bodies solid and strong. We have to make our hearts firm. If we are able to do so, the wind will be quite friendly with us. Though the wind blows out weak fires, it provides strength to the strong fires. If the fire will be strong, it will be further intensified by the wind. But if a weak fire will be there, it will be extinguished by the wind. So the poet is saying that wind is supporting all those who are weak, but all those who are strong. Wind is supporting to all those who are strong, but it crushes all those who are weak. So if you want to strong, if you want to stand against the wind, then you have to make yourselves very strong. You got the message? You understood what the point wind is about? Yes, students? All of you understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So the remaining we will discuss in the next class. First 2 lessons and 2 points we have discussed. And what is the third lesson? It is the little girl about Kezia. Okay, so you learn everything about Kezia, and then rain of the roof. How the rain on the roof, what the poet remembered. The poet remembered his mother. Okay, so that, and the lost child, the adventure of Toto, Iswaran the storyteller. All these children you learn well. We will discuss there in the next class.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, students.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.